2020's Motorola is a company of comebacks. It re-entered the premium and upper mid-range smartphone market with a slew of new devices for the first time in years. It brought back the iconic 2004 Motorola Razr, and after that turned out to be a bit of a disaster, brought out another Razr 6 months later. The Lenovo-owned company is truly the comeback kid. But how does a new phone fare? The addition of 5G in the name isn't the only upgrade in the phone. There's also an improved camera, a sturdier hinge mechanism, and a more functional cover display. The price has also come down to $13.99 from the original's $1,500. But the question is, does it have the same problems as before, and is it worth your money? Let's start with the problems. Motorola made me sign a fairly comprehensive loan agreement that, in short, stipulates I can't get all jerry-rig everything with the phone. This isn't uncommon, but a Motorola rep did say this is a new requirement for Razr Press loans. No prizes for guessing why. One of the main concerns of the original Razr was the flimsy display, which didn't quite cover the hinge and let in some dust and debris. In some cases, it even peeled away from the phone chassis. I'm pleased to say that is not the case here. There's a tighter fit to the phone's body with a much smaller gap, and in the 2 weeks I've had the phone, after flipping it open repeatedly, I've noticed no peeling or anything unusual. I feel confident about the structural integrity of this phone's expensive plastic layer. But please don't use my words against me if there's another Razr screen scandal. The other issue was creaking noises in the hinge, which some reviewers were concerned suggested there's something wrong with the mechanism or spelled doom down the line. So has the new device improved? Let's do a bit of hinge ASMR. There is a creak, but it isn't the cracking sound of the previous device. It sounds like someone trying to quietly slip out a very tight fart or Ross Geller's skin-tight leather jeans. But it doesn't sound foreboding like it's going to break anytime soon. It certainly isn't any more of a dramatic sound the cracked Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 2 makes. Motorola's Jeff Snow, the product general manager for premium and flagship devices, spoke to me about the saga surrounding the hinge on the Razr 2019.
There was a couple reports of hinges making noises that maybe develop noises over time. In some cases, we've seen made noises where it wasn't part of the design. But for the most part, I think one thing that people have to get acquainted with is that when you have a phone that's actually has moving parts in it, with all of these parts, inevitably it's not going to be silent. And we've done a lot in this current generation to really try to isolate those noise sources and remove them. And it's not so much that those noises were going to cause the phone to break necessarily, but we just feel like if wherever we can, if we can remove some of the noises, then it's going to be a better consumer experience.
Elsewhere, the plastic OLED display doesn't feel dramatically different from Samsung's ultra-thin glass. I like that Samsung, with the help of German manufacturer Schott, innovated and moved the industry forwards, but in execution I struggle to feel the difference between the two screens. Samsung's foldable phones are also covered in a plastic protective layer anyway. True to its name, ultra-thin glass is ultra-thin. This is a sample from Schott, the company that partnered with Samsung on a Z Flip and Fold 2. It's worth mentioning, and Schott wanted to point out to me, that this sample isn't necessarily what's inside the Z Flip and the Galaxy Z Fold 2. This is several times thicker than what's inside those phones. As you can see, it is super flexible, which is the entire point. It's an amazing feat of material engineering, but at this early stage, there's virtually no touch difference with or without this panel, which still needs a protective layer anyway. But that will change as companies work on the material and develop a glass panel that doesn't need additional protection. Jeff Snow says this is exactly why the Razr doesn't use that technology.
We've been looking at ultra-thin glass with a number of different suppliers even before Samsung came out with theirs, but at this time, it doesn't add any additional benefit to cover that we have on our display, for the main reasons of it not providing a good enough scratch resistance or rigidity that we would expect. But the technology is definitely making steps forward as time goes on. So we're continuing to look at that in terms of future components.
So let's talk about value for money. Is this folding phone worth $1,500? In short, no. Look, it's a very cool phone. The flipping open action is fun. So fun, I wasted a decent amount of time trying to create this meme. But once you open the main display, there's a fairly standard Android phone. The camera takes decent pictures, there's a good amount of detail, there's good color accuracy, but it did struggle with focus in medium light. Its night mode is surprisingly good, in fact better than most top tier Android handsets. And it comes with cool features like spot colors. The small 2800 mAh battery is, as you would expect, it's not great. It was flat before the end of the day with moderate use, which is why Motorola recommends you use the outer quick view display to conserve battery. This mini display, by the way, is awesome. It can run almost any app and the app continuity works really well. So if I start here, it resizes and runs smoothly here. But does the second display justify that high price tag? Not really. The point is you can get better in terms of specifications for less, including a direct clamshell rival from Samsung. You can get a better camera from Google and Apple for $500, $800 less. There's better specs and performance from virtually any other flagship Android for less. You're mostly paying for this form factor and that amazing folding action. Is it worth it alone? No. As a package, maybe. But personally, I would wait for the inevitable price drops on Black Friday and the run up to Christmas. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.